I'm sure you must know who knows how many business owners who have tried to work with this program, probably have some complaints. Do you think the issue right now is about size or oversight?
Well, first of all, that was a great report, and I think there should be a special place in hell for people that are trying to take advantage of this program when so many companies are hurting. I mean, I listened to that report, and it just makes my blood boil that people would do that. But there's certainly going to be fraud in the system whenever you try to release $2 trillion in the economy so quickly. What we're hearing from a lot of the small businesses is really the lack of clarity. How do I apply? Who gets to apply? When does it come up? When is the next anniversary date? When do I have to pay it back? But a lot of that is just confusion because of speed.
Interesting. So I guess, I mean, for example, Lloyd Blankfein was on our air earlier this morning, was asked about the program and the Fed programs as well. And his point was that as the immediacy of the crisis sort of gets more gradual over time, we all get used to this, that's when you start to find out and focus more on things like abuse. Does this all seem like part of the process to you, or is there something really significant going on?
No, I think if I step back from it, my first, this is an emergency and people are hurting. And the first priority is getting the money out there. There's always going to be some level of abuse and some level of confusion. So I really applaud the government for moving so quickly to get the money to the people that matter. I think where we're now starting to see some of the process is the definition of things like small business. Like, the people that are really hurting are the really small companies in Main Street America with 2 employees, 10 employees. But what we're seeing is a lot of the public companies, bigger companies are getting these funds. Yeah, some of them are returning it, but in the process, should they have applied? Should the program have been created for somebody like them? Big companies are more or less going to survive, most of them, but a lot of these small businesses, this shutdown could be mortally effective for them.
Yeah, Robert, speaking of, good morning, it's John Fort. A couple across the street from me, they're eye doctors. And a question that I think they were facing is, how much of this was who you know at the right kind of bank versus how your business is actually run? On the one hand, bigger banks seem to have a certain kind of access, but they were taking care maybe of bigger clients. And then smaller banks, did they have the same kind of access? Are you hearing the same kinds of questions from the businesses that you're connected to?
We are, and I think there's a lot of frustration with people that didn't get the funding, didn't know how much to apply for. And people are, overall, I'm a big believer in the human spirit. And I think most people try to do the right thing. But for sure, there were some banks that got their customers ahead in the queue. But I also think we've done a pretty good job with people like PayPal, who you had earlier, Intuit, QuickBooks. You were allowed to apply through them. So I think we just have to keep in mind how complex and Herculean this task is. And there's always going to be some abuse out of this. But I just think the government has tried to do the right thing, and I encourage the businesses to keep going, and even through all the complexity, apply through different institutions and see if you can get that money.
Yeah, Robert, some of the conversations I have with small business owners in my own family and my own network they've gotten the PPP loan finally. Now there's confusion over how the business can and should deploy that money, what the tax implications are going to be. When you talk about confusion, what would be the surest ways to help clarify that process for small business owners so that way they can actually put this money to work?
Yeah, I think there's just a lot of confusion right now, and everyone's looking for clarity. I know that the first anniversary date is coming up May 15th. If I return the money, do I still pay interest? I don't think a lot of those things are clear yet, and they will become clear. My advice to the small businesses is if you have the money, use it in the best way that you think is right for your business. The purpose of this money was to retain employees. And we're really encouraging people to try to do the right thing and continue down that road. And hopefully that cuts down on some of the unemployment, although the numbers are staggering. I saw the report this morning. 1 in 5 Americans have now filed for unemployment. It's unbelievable.